Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome you to the show, Just My Thoughts. I'm your host, Eric Daniel Coughlin. I got one question for you. How are you doing? I'm just kidding. How you guys doing? All right, so today on the Thought Tracker, this is what we're going to do. We're going to break down the Eastern Conference Finals, the Western Conference Finals, wrap that up into the NBA Finals, right? Right, that's what we're going to do. So this is how I see this going down. Unfortunately, I didn't see it going down. It just happened to be that way. So since it is that way, this is what's going down. We got the LA Lakers versus the Denver Nuggets. Honestly, I think it's LA Lakers and it's a landslide. I don't call it a sweep, but I do call it 5 games. I'm going to say this is going to be the fastest series for the LA Lakers in the playoffs since since playoffs started. They had to, beat Memphis and then they had to beat Golden State. Now they get to play the Denver Nuggets. So I think they're primed. I think they're ready. I think they've been beating the crap out of everybody that the league has put in front of them. And plus, I have never once this year ever, viewed Denver as a number one team. And I don't think I have ever viewed them as a number one team. I know they got the Joker, and I know they got Jamal Murray, and I know they got, Michael Porter Jr. I understand, their build-up. I understand that, but I also understand this. They're, really freaking young. So that means they're too damn inexperienced to have to go dethrone the king. Are you serious? I don't care that the LA Lakers came in as the seventh seed. Actually, I thought they were coming in as the eighth, but a couple of things went their way toward the end of the season, so they got to come in at the seventh. But they've had a dogfight throughout the playoffs, so they had to beat Memphis and John Morant and all that, which, they did, obviously, and then they had to go beat the Golden State Warriors, who were, defending Western champions last year. And of the last decade, what have they been? 6 championships in the last 10 years, 7 championships in the last 10 years. So that pretty much means they own the West, and the Lakers just ran through them. So this is how I see it. I don't see anybody, and I said this already a couple of times on the show, so I'm saying it again, and it sounds repetitive, but I don't care. It's just my opinions on my show, just my thoughts. How you doing? I don't think anybody in the league, almost anybody in the league, we'll get to that later, can match up to Jimmy Butler one-on-one. So I also don't think that anyone can match up one-on-one with Anthony Davis. So that presents every matchup, them having to be double teamed at all times, right? So then it becomes a 3-on-1 versus everybody in the league. And that is why LA has been able to run through these playoffs. Let me tell you something. AD is great. LeBron's great. Outside of that, when you look at the rest of the team, I hate to inform you, but they're great. D'Angelo Russell, so if you don't know the history and the significance of D'Angelo Russell playing for the Lakers, it's funny. So they drafted him, I think it was like 2017, 2018. Several years ago, they drafted him to become the man out there. And then when LeBron come over and, they kind of split ways, so they let go of D'Angelo Russell for a while. Also, Jordan Clarkson, who's had a great year in Utah, he also was part of that draft class with D'Angelo Russell that went to LA. They got rid of Jordan Clarkson as well. And if you don't know your history, you can quote me on this, but also Kyle Kuzma was part of that deal. Brandon Ingram was part of that deal. Like the Lakers were trying to rebuild, and then they blew up just because of the whole LeBron effect, right? But they managed to get back their first premier building block. Their very first building block was the prodigal son, who is D'Angelo Russell. Now he's back in town. That dude by himself, I'm going to explain this to you. D'Angelo Russell by himself might be in the top 10 point guards in the league. He can easily, on any given night, depending on don't matter who's in front of him, the guy can score 30 and not even sweat. Like, literally, he can score 30 points and be like, oh, that was a good game. See you guys later. That's how good this guy is. That's why he got drafted so early so many years ago. And if it weren't for the whole, let's blow up and get LeBron, he would have stayed in LA. He's happy about the whole situation. He looks at it like a homecoming. And also, outside of that, outside of D'Angelo Russell being great by himself, 30-point kind of guy, a night kind of guy, like I said, top 10 point guards, I'm not joking around, D'Angelo Russell's scary. But outside of that, they have a very young, very intelligent, way before his prime, young kid. His name is Austin Reeves. Let me tell you, I look at Austin Reeves the same way I looked at Steve Nash. What? I said I look at Austin Reeves the same way I look at Steve Nash, a very, very hard, smart playing guy. This dude is always in the right spot. He's not a ball hog, right? So if he's not open to take the shot, guess what he's going to do? He's going to pass it. He only takes the shots that he's open. And when he does take them, he takes them very accurately. This dude shoots at a very high clip. If, you could look up the stats. I would want to say he's probably the most accurate shooter on that freaking team. Now, he doesn't light up the scoreboards. Like, he's not getting 30, 40 points. He's only getting like 15, 16 points. That's because, like, he's a fill-in player. But god darn, as a fill-in player, this dude makes the rest of the league look like bums. He's just accurate with his shot. He's accurate with his pass. He plays pretty good defense. Like, he'll draw fouls. He gets in the way. He tries to fight for rebounds. He's a very tough little dude in the NBA. LA Lakers have a gift by having Austin Reeves. That's how good Austin Reeves is. He's Santa Claus's Christmas gift to LA Lakers. How you doing? And then outside of that, the other guy, that makes a lot of noise for them, is like an unsung hero, and he's their wing player. I'm talking about Jared Vanderbilt. This dude that is, again, he's always in the right spot at the right time. He chews up rebounds. Jared Vanderbilt, so excuse me, he probably averages, if you look up his season average, right around 9 boards. But look, that is misleading. This dude can one night get 14, one night he might do 8, 7, 8. One night might go out there, snag up 23 rebounds. One night might snag up, 6, 7. So that's why they say he averages 9. But he's always coming down with the boards, and he's doing it like within transition. He's a very good defender. He's coming, on the backside. If AD gets the block, he's always right there. Like I said, very smart. The LA Lakers might be the smartest team when it comes to playing basketball. It's the only team in the playoffs that when you look, they actually play like a routine, like a program. Like they are well coached. They are well built. They're extremely intelligent. They are methodical. And that's why I say that they're going to destroy Denver in 5 games. I think this is what's going to happen. I think Denver's going to have all the hype, right? They're going to win first game, but they're only going to win by like a buzzer beater. They're going to be like, oh, yeah. And then, LeBron's going to be like, that's never going to happen again. And they run 4 in a row. Boom, 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 boom. Right. Sitting at the finals, waiting for their competitor. So who is their competitor going to be? The winner of the East, right? So you got Boston versus Miami Heat. That's it's a rematch. This has already happened in the past, and it's gonna. This is how I see this. I see this as being a 7-game series. This is going to be a dogfight. This is not going to be easy for either team, and I say that because I say this. I think Boston is very well built, but here's the thing. I also think they have been well built for like 7, 8 years. These guys, there's no surprise to who they are. Who are Boston? Boston is Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, with a little bit of Al Horford. That is who they are. That is who they've been. They haven't changed and they're not going to. So then you look at Miami, you're like, who's Miami? Well, Jimmy Butler's been killing everybody. So, in my opinion, I've been saying this I want people to understand this, that people that truly know me know I'm not lying on camera. But people that think I'm just saying this because, it's happening right now, you don't know me very well. I have been saying it for 10 years that Jimmy Butler is the best player in the NBA. And I'm saying it right now, Jimmy Butler is the best player in the NBA. I don't see Boston beating Miami, even though it's going to be a 7-game series. This is how I see the entire matchup. So, very first night, what they're going to do is they're going to match up big boy Jason Tatum. That's their golden boy. And they're going to match him against Miami's golden boy, which is Jimmy Butler. This is going to automatically create a huge mismatch, right? Because so Jason Tatum is trying to hold down Jimmy Butler. That puts Robin Williams or Al Horford on Bam Adebayo. Bam Adebayo is way too fast, way too slick, way too smart to get caught by big dummy and old man Horford, or by young man Roberts, who's going to jump all over him and create a lot of fouls. Bam Adebayo creates a lot of mismatches because he plays center, but he's truly a power forward. This man is only 6'9", and he's only like 232 pounds. He's not a big, giant guy. He's a little bitty dude filling the box, right? That means he could jump out of the gym. He does every fucking night. He gets a lot of blocks, a lot of rebounds, a lot of energy. And then they use Miami. They're slick, man. They use Kevin Love as their power forward, which is smart. That's what Kevin Love essentially is. He has been his entire career. The only time Kevin Love has ever played center in his career was sometimes when he was young as a rookie in Minnesota with the Wolves and with Ricky Rubio. If you don't know your history, they played together with the Wolves. How you doing? I know my history, bro. I'm a sports fanatic. bro. And then again, he in small ball situations in Cleveland, back when Cleveland in 2000, what was that, 2019, 2018, when LeBron went back to Cleveland, when he left Miami and all that blew up. You know, Kevin Love was part of that deal, part of that team, and Kevin Love would play small ball 5 in Cleveland. So essentially, if you did not know, you know now, he is and always has been a power forward. He's not a center. Okay, so then, what does that create? That creates Kyle Lowry on Jaylen Brown, right? You're like, oh, they got Malcolm Brogdon. I know who they got. I know who they are. I know what's up. I ain't stupid. But here's what I'm saying. So Jaylen Brown being the second big name on his team, and Kyle Lowry being, you know, ex-champion second big name on his team, that is the legit matchup. You know, Jaylen Brown and Kyle Lowry. So these guys are going to lock up. Right. So then you got Jason Tatum on Jimmy Butler. You got Jaylen Brown on Kyle Lowry. That means it's a mismatch, the Malcolm Brogdon that everyone wants to tell me about, or Marcus Smart. Either which way, if Smart starts, if Brogdon's hurt, I know he got stepped on, so I don't know if he'd come back or not. I don't know what his injury report is. Rather, it's Malcolm Brogdon or if it's Marcus Smart. The matchup will essentially be on Gabe Vincent. I would assume that would be accurate. Gabe Vincent would be on that matchup. And then, so that leaves Al Horford, the center, guarding. Well, no. He'll be on Bam. Oh, yeah. That's the matchup. This is going to be the matchup to pay attention to. Duncan Robinson. So if I were Miami, I'm not a Miami Heat fan. I'm a Chicago Bulls fan. But I'm just saying, if I were Miami, I would be running Duncan Robinson for everything he's worth. In my opinion, I understand. You know, so Kyle Lowry is going to be bringing the ball up. Jimmy Butler is going to be the 2. You know, the 3 is going to be Gabe Vincent. It shouldn't be. It should be Duncan Robinson. And then I'd run Love. And then I'd run Bam Adebayo. And then I'd run Gabe Vincent and Caleb Martin would be coming off the bench for me. If I were Miami, those guys would be coming off the bench as shooting guards and as a small forward. But to me, like I'm saying, I don't think Boston has anybody to match up with Duncan Robinson. They just don't. Duncan Robinson probably shoot the 3 ball better than any of the wings in Boston. I mean, I'm excluding. So I'm saying that Jason Tatum's playing their power forward position, right? Right. Robin Williams or Al Horford would be the center, right? Right. So their wing, whoever they throw out there, rather, it's not going to be Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown's going to be, you know, their shooting guard, unless they did play. So I don't know if they've done this, but it would make sense if Jaylen Brown did play their wing position, and then that would allow them to play Marcus Smart as the shooting guard and Malcolm Brogdon at the point guard. That might be beneficial, and then that would be a legit matchup. I'm saying this, Duncan Robinson is a legit matchup with Jaylen Brown. I'm just telling you guys. But then you got to think about secret weapons, right? So I just mentioned they still have Caleb Martin and they still have Gabe Vincent that Boston's going to have to deal with. When you ask the question on the other side, how would Miami match up to Boston? If I were Miami, I would let Kevin Love play that small ball 5. Just listen to what I've got to say. If I were Miami, if I were going to attack Boston and to ensure me going into the next round, going into the NBA Finals against LA Lakers and get my revenge and get my rematch, the best show on turf, Jimmy Butler versus LeBron. There's steps to that because Boston is legit. Boston did go to the championship last year. They are decorated, like I said, but like I said, not only are they decorated, they're also overplayed. They've been doing the same thing for so fucking long. So, Love at 5, Bam Adebayo at 4, Duncan Robinson at the 3, Jimmy Butler at the 2, Kyle Lowry at the 1. This is how I would play if I was Miami. And I would say, hey, Boston, you want it? Come get it. And then the very next night, just to confuse them, right? Because you can do this with Miami because Jimmy Butler's been in the league, 12, 13, 14 years. Kevin Love's been in the league 15, 16, 17 years. Kyle Lowry's been in the league 13, 14 years. So you could actually, the very next night, flip the script. Let Bam Adebayo play center. let Kevin Love play small forward. Let Jimmy Butler play the wing. Then you let Kyle Lowry play point guard and Duncan Robinson play shooting guard, right? And then game 3, now you're in Boston's head. Now they're like, what the fuck are they going to do? So this is what you do in game 3. You play however the hell you want to play. If you want Jimmy Butler to be your power forward, you give the old man Kevin Love rest, right? And then you throw Boston in fucking rage. And you can get a 3-0 lead on Boston because they're so fucking mad they don't know how to play you. You can play Bam Adebayo at center. You can play Jimmy Butler at power forward. Mark my words, you can do that. Chicago Bulls used to do that all the time. Then you got Duncan Robinson at the small forward. Then you've got Caleb Martin at the shooting guard. Then you've got Kyle Lowry primarily staying at that point guard position. Now you're asking yourself, how come you're not mentioning Tyler Hero? Because I do believe Tyler Hero is still hurt. I do not believe Tyler Hero could come into this matchup and be effective. If he sits out of this matchup, he could come into the championship round, and that would be very ideal. They need his defense. They need his three-point shooting. They don't need to mess around and get this guy hurt before they're even competing for a title. I know they're in the Eastern Finals, so they're competing for an Eastern title. So I know this is a title game, but it's not the title game. So you don't hurt your hand. You don't bite the hand that feeds. If you can let Kyle Lowry just stay the number 1 guy and not use Tyler Hero, that is okay. And that is smart business if I was the Miami Heat. So then, like I said, I see this a 7-game matchup because I do respect Jaylen Brown. I do respect Jason Tatum, but I do not respect their duo as teammates. I do expect this. Now, this is just crazy because, like I said, this has been the same team for 8 years. Jaylen Brown is going to be a free agent this season, and I expect him to get a brand new team. I don't think he's happy in Boston, regardless that they're dominant, regardless that they won a title last year. I think he's sick and tired of everyone thinking that he is in the shadows of Jason Tatum, and in his own right, I would be too. If you look at their numbers, if you look at their careers, they came to the team around the exact same years. They've been doing everything together. They've been doing everything. All of Boston's success is because of a 2-man tandem. Well, all the publicity goes to one man. I'd be sick of that shit too. If I'm just saying it. It's like the same thing. People go through this, and then some people don't go through this, right? Michael and Scotty. Michael overshadowed Scotty, but it could be argued that Scotty was the second best player of all time. I'll say that again. Scottie Pippen is the second best basketball player in the world, the second best I've ever seen. People are like, oh, yeah, it's Michael, then it's Kobe. No, it's not. If you can try to tell me Kobe Bryant could beat Scottie Pippen one-on-one, I'm telling you, you're smoking something, and it ain't weed, brother. I'm just telling you, look up highlights of the Bulls 90s. Scottie Pippen put Patrick Ewing on his ass. Scottie Pippen put Charles Barkley on his ass. Scottie Pippen dunking over Shaq as a rookie, pretty much nuts in the face, putting Shaq on his ass. There's no fucking way Kobe Bryant ever beat Scottie Pippen one-on-one. I'm just telling you. I say this, I don't know if Kobe Bryant ever beats LeBron James one-on-one. Yes, he's a better shooter. Yes, he's probably a better dunker. Yes, a finesse basketball player. Yes, absolutely. Kobe Bryant makes basketball look easy, and LeBron makes it look like a struggle. But if you're talking about a one-on-one matchup, and you're talking about my head versus your head, and I'm LeBron James and you're Kobe Bryant, ask yourself this. Is Kobe Bryant going to stop LeBron James from going in there and dunking it 10 times and win the game 20-0? Hell no. How is anybody going to stop LeBron James from dunking the damn ball? He's been playing for almost 25 years, and guess what? He's still dunking the damn ball because ain't no one going to stop him. If he decides he's dribbling to that basket and going to jump and put it in the fucking rim, I hate to tell you, I'm going to announce it to the world. They already know. No one's stopping that. So, LeBron, third best basketball player I've ever seen in my life. I'm just going to tell you. Kobe be probably 4. And that is only because, like, I'm going to say this. People are like, oh, yeah, whatever. If Derrick Rose never blew his knees, Derrick Rose might be the second best basketball player I've ever seen in my life. I'm just going to say that. That dude could shoot. That dude could dunk. That dude could play defense. That dude could do whatever you asked him to do, and except for heal properly and come back. That's the only thing he couldn't do. Sorry, I'm not hating on you. I miss you. I respect you. I love you. Derrick Rose, number 1. Just sorry. All right, so back to what we were saying. NBA championship, the NBA Finals, 2023 NBA Finals will be a COVID rematch. It will be the LA Lakers versus the Miami Heat. And it's going to be 7 games. And I'm going to say this. This is going to be the best 7 games of the year. You will not see a better matchup. You will not see a better freaking series, period. I mean, I'm glad that this is happening. And we're still speaking futuristically. Like, there's games that have to be played for this to happen. But in my head, this is what's going to happen. The Lakers, the Miami Heat, battling it out for 7 games. Every game within 5 points. What? I said every game within just a couple of shots. That's how good this matchup is going to be. And I'll tell you what, if there's one man, I told you I'll get into this later, this is what I'm getting into. I did say there's only one guy, arguably, could stop LeBron James at any given night, no matter how, it doesn't matter, home, away, you versus him, go out there and eat his ass up. There's only one man that can do that, and that is Jimmy Butler. And I'm not making it up. If you could just look up Miami Heat versus Chicago Bulls, 2014, Jimmy Butler coming in pretty much fresh. Now, he wasn't a rookie, but he was like barely even a rotation player for about 2 years. If you didn't know this, you don't know your Bulls history, and I'm going to feed it to you like this. Jimmy Butler sat on the bench for like 3 years because we were that fucking good. We had Kyle Korver. We had Derrick Rose. We had Carlos Boozer. We had Joakim Noah. We had Mike Dunleavy Jr. We had guys that we didn't need Jimmy Butler until Derrick Rose blew his knees. Then we needed him. You know what we did? We said, hey, Jimmy, all we want you to do is go out there and guard LeBron. This is the first NBA action this man's really receiving, and it's in the freaking playoffs, and it's against King James. And you know what he did? He held LeBron James to 6 points. Now, you know what he did the second night? Held LeBron James 18 points. You know what he did the third night? Held LeBron James scoreless. Now, I don't know my entire NBA history, but I'm going to say if you're talking about a man that held LeBron James scoreless, there's probably only one man on that motherfucking list, and that man happens to be Jimmy Butler. Held the man scoreless. I'm just telling you. So, you take that matchup. Jimmy on LeBron. Squash that. All right. Then you're going to say, hey, Bam, it's going to be hard, baby, but I want you to do whatever you got to do to stop AD. Boom. That's going to be a matchup in itself. These guys, it's going to be like a grizzly bear fighting a polar bear. They're both big. They're both mean. One's giant compared to the other, but the other, where he's not a giant, is more agile. This is going to be ferocious. Bam Adebayo versus Anthony Davis. And then you got the fill-in players. This is where it all gets interesting. So I already told you I respect Austin Reeves. And I already told you I think Austin Reeves is a lot like Steve Nash. I'm not kidding. If there's ever been a comparison, this is it. It's Steve Nash and Austin Reeves. Those dudes are one and the same. It's like he might be his grandson. I'm just telling you. All right, so you got Austin Reeves. You got Jared Vanderbilt, who plays great defense and is an amazing rebounder. I've already told you guys this, right? Right. So then the prodigal son himself. You ask yourself, that sounds like a big three. We're going to call him a small three. How's Miami going to stop that? Even if Jimmy Butler can stop LeBron, even if Bam and AD are so caught up in each other, how are you stopping the other three? Well, you can ask the same freaking question. Austin Reeves or Kyle Lowry? Who are you going to take? Are you going to take a kid that's been in the league for 2 years? Or are you going to take an ex-champion that's been in the league for 12 years? I'm taking Kyle Lowry. How you doing? All right, then same question. Are you going to take Jared Vanderbilt, who doesn't really shoot very good? He's a good attacker. Now, he scores because he can dunk. All right, he gets all the rebounds that he could possibly see, right? And then plays good defense. But you're going to take a three-point shooter like Duncan Robinson. I like to shoot the three-point. I'm taking Duncan Robinson. Right. And then that leaves the prodigal son. How are you going to match up with the prodigal son? I don't know. But let me ask you this. Is D'Angelo Russell so fucking good that he's the one guy that's going to be the reason why the Los Angeles Lakers can beat the Miami Heat, knowing that the Miami Heat still have Kevin Love that you're going to have to worry about, knowing that the Miami Heat still has Caleb Martin and Gabe Vincent that you're going to have to worry about? That's 3 guys to Los Angeles's 1 guy. He's like, oh, no, they got a couple more. Yes, they got a couple more. You got to respect Ryu Hachimura. You got to respect him. But then ask the question, how important is he? Ryu Hachimura is only coming in as a bench reserve. He's only getting about 8 minutes per half, only 16 minutes a game. He's only going to score about 8 or 9 points and get about 6 rebounds and maybe 3 assists. Is that a factor? No, it's not a factor. So, what are you saying, Eric? Eric is saying this. 2023 NBA champions, the Miami Heat. Because of Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, and the rest of the Heat gang. And that's beaten, in my opinion, that's the best matchup that the NBA has to offer. And that's the 2 best teams, period, in the NBA. When you talk about how you break down a team, these are the 2 best teams in the NBA. That's why we're going to see them in the championship. And that's why it's going to be 7 games. And that's why you're only going to be within 5 points. Some maybe 1 point, some might be 4 points. It'll never be over more 5 points. If it does, I'll be extremely shocked. I won't be disappointed, especially if the top side's the Heat. That'd be kind of cool, right? That'd be cool. But it wouldn't be cool because I'm supposed to fucking hate the Heat. I've always hated the Heat because, every time Chicago's this fucking close, guess who knocks us down? The Heat. That's been my history for like a decade or better. I can't get fucking past them. And now my favorite player plays for them. And I have to still crown them the NBA 2023 champions, the Miami Heat. Ladies and gentlemen, we're done here. I'd like to thank you for your time. If you enjoyed the show, always feel free to cash at me, Erick Coughlin, #Coughlin Pride. Have a nice day.